Nestled between forgotten mountains and shrouded in a perpetual fog, there once lay a town named Whispering Pines. Time had swallowed its glory, and the remnants of the past clung to its decaying buildings like a ghostly shroud. The once vibrant streets were now eerily silent, echoing the secrets buried within the town's desolate heart. Nobody remembered how Whispering Pines had become deserted. It was as if the town had been erased from the collective memory, left to wither away in obscurity. It was in this ominous silence that the tale of horror unfolded, a tale that, if whispered in the dead of night, would send shivers down the bravest spine. The story begins with a group of adventurous friends who, driven by a morbid curiosity, decided to explore the abandoned town. Emily, the bold and intrepid leader, convinced her friends, Sam, Alex, and Mia, to join her on this eerie expedition. Armed with flashlights, cameras, and an insatiable appetite for the macabre, they entered Whispering Pines as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that seemed to reach out and ensnare them. The first signs of the town's decay were evident in the dilapidated houses, their windows like empty eye sockets staring into the void. As the friends delved deeper, the air became thick with a palpable sense of foreboding. It was as though the very essence of the town had absorbed the despair of its forsaken inhabitants. The group's initial excitement began to wane as they navigated the narrow streets, each step accompanied by the creaking of floorboards from the abandoned homes. The silence was oppressive, interrupted only by the occasional rustle of leaves and the distant howl of the wind. They pressed on, their shadows dancing along the decrepit walls, seemingly pursued by unseen specters. The town square, once a bustling hub of activity, now lay desolate. A decaying fountain at its center spouted water stained with the color of rust. As Emily examined the fountain, she noticed a strange inscription etched into the stone, an ancient script that seemed to whisper forgotten tales of doom. Mia shivered, feeling an unseen presence watching them from the shadows. As the group explored further, they stumbled upon an old library. The creaking door protested its reluctant opening, revealing shelves lined with dusty books and forgotten knowledge. In the dim light, they discovered a collection of diaries and journals, each chronicling the descent of Whispering Pines into darkness. The diaries spoke of a curse that had befallen the town centuries ago, a curse born of forbidden rituals and unspeakable acts. It told of a malevolent force that had claimed the souls of the townsfolk, rendering them eternally trapped in a spectral realm, forever yearning for release. The friends exchanged nervous glances, realizing they were treading on ground stained with the blood of the past. With the night deepening and an unnatural chill settling in, Emily and her friends decided to leave the library. But the town seemed to resist their departure. The narrow alleys twisted and turned, disorienting them as if the very streets were alive and conspiring to keep them within Whispering Pines. As they retraced their steps, they stumbled upon an ancient cemetery, the gravestones worn and weathered by time. The air grew thick with an otherworldly energy, and a spectral fog began to envelop the graveyard. Unearthly whispers echoed through the mist, telling tales of sorrow and regret. The friends, now gripped by fear, felt the weight of unseen eyes upon them. It was then that they noticed a crypt, its heavy door slightly ajar. Drawn by an unseen force, they cautiously pushed it open, revealing a stairwell that descended into the bowels of the earth. The air grew colder with each step, and the feeble light of their flashlights flickered ominously. As they reached the bottom, they found themselves in a dimly lit chamber adorned with arcane symbols. The air was heavy with the stench of decay, and the flickering candles cast dancing shadows on the walls. In the center of the room, an ancient altar stood, its surface stained with an ominous substance that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. As the friends approached the altar, a sudden gust of wind extinguished their flashlights, plunging them into darkness. Panic set in as they fumbled for their lights, but a low, guttural chant emanated from the shadows. The air seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly resonance, and the friends felt an invisible force closing in around them. In the darkness, figures began to materialize, apparitions of the tormented souls that once called Whispering Pines home. Their eyes glowed with an ethereal light, and their spectral forms moaned in eternal anguish. The friends, paralyzed with terror, could feel the cold touch of phantom hands reaching out to them from the void. Desperation gripped Emily as she fumbled for her flashlight. In a desperate attempt to break free from the suffocating darkness, she shouted an incantation she had stumbled upon in the diaries. The ancient words resonated through the chamber, momentarily dispelling the apparitions and revealing the true horror of the room. The walls were adorned with paintings depicting scenes of unspeakable horror, rituals that defied the laws of nature and unleashed malevolent forces upon the town. The friends realized they had entered the lair of the dark entity that had claimed Whispering Pines. As the echoes of Emily's incantation faded, the apparitions returned with a vengeance. The friends, now marked by the ancient words, were bound to the curse that had befallen the town. They could feel the malevolent force seeping into their very souls, merging their fates with the tormented spirits of Whispering Pines. In a final, desperate act, the friends raced to escape the crypt, but the very walls seemed to close in around them. The air grew thick with an oppressive malevolence, and the chamber echoed with the anguished cries of the trapped souls. As they reached the stairs, the spectral fog from the graveyard crept in, enveloping them in a suffocating embrace. The last thing they saw was the ancient cemetery, now bathed in an unholy light. The gravestones glowed with an eerie radiance, and the whispers of the tormented souls filled the air. The friends, now part of the town's haunted history, vanished into the spectral fog, leaving behind nothing but the chilling echoes of their screams. Whispering Pines, once forgotten and abandoned, continued to exist in the shadows, a town consumed by darkness and cursed for all eternity. The vanishing shadows of Whispering Pines remained hidden from the world, its secrets buried within the decaying remnants of a town lost to time.